The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now, your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Walker, and Kyle Yeomans.
It is a wonderful Wednesday edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company from the Star in Frisco in the SWBC studios. It is the final bye-week episode of the podcast as we head into a little bit of a break. Thursday, Friday, no podcast, and then, of course, no game on Sunday, and then we'll be back here on Monday with the normal crew, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Nosey Walker, and myself. But today we've got the mix-up crew one more time. Brian Broaddus and Nate Newton joining us here on Talkin Cowboys. Gentlemen, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Really enjoyed yesterday.
Yeah.
Mom gave a big thumbs up after the show. She said, boy, that was really entertaining. She said you two were outstanding, and I was a little subpar. Need to pick up my game. So
I don't know about
I'll try
that.
and pick it up this week. No, I tell you what, it's a lot of fun. I think Derek Eagleton said it best yesterday when I was listening to a little bit of their podcast. Mm-hmm. He was talking about sometimes you get in that bubble where everybody tends to have the same opinion, and it's nice to go out and get another opinion or hear another view. And I love doing that. I love working with you guys, whether it's the draft show or back in the day when we did pre- and post-game shows together. But it's just nice to hear a different opinion on something that you might have been a little dug in on.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? Nate's right about that. Kyle's right about that. You know, it's a good way, and I think the listeners benefit from that.
Oh, I got a lot of compliments yesterday about the pairing of you two on the show, and they love Patrick and Isaiah too, and everybody brings their own different opinion and different personality to the show, but that mix up, it's fun. I love doing this every year,
Yeah.
and Nate, I mean, you're smiling over there. You must have had a good day yesterday too.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to figure out, man, neither one of us, you are who you are, but I don't have dreads, he don't have dreads. I'm just trying to figure, is he C, Patrick, or is I'm, you know.
It's funny you say that. It's like my mom was telling me this. It was funny.
Right.
My mom is one of my biggest critics, and she listens to everything. And she says when you get people together that have lived it, you know, when you get people like me on the personnel side and then Nate as a former player,
Right.
you know, when you live things, you could kind of, you know, I'm not always clear about how I say it,
Right.
but when listen, this is why I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure today we're going to talk about the trade deadline. I got to live that. I think there was a little disappointment on my end from that whole thing, but I think the experience of the room is always unique, you know, and I think that's what's cool about it.
6-time Pro Bowler and 3-time Super Bowl champ.
He got me by
helps out.
2 Super Bowls there.
Yep. You got a Super Bowl
He
champ
took a
over
couple
here.
from us there in Green Bay. We were never good enough to play with that crew.
Wow.
Not to play with Nate, right?
Yeah.
No, Nate just wore old Gilbert Brown out.
Yeah, man, we had fun. It was glory days, man.
A lot of fun.
They'll be back.
They'll be
I hope
back.
they'll come back soon, man.
No doubt about it. It was funny the other day when I said that you guys were coming on the show because it's mentioned it's funny you mentioned the dreads. Both Patrick and Isaiah were like, so I guess you just kicked off the guys with the dreads. And
Yeah.
you're bringing in
Yeah.
Brian and Nate. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So let's get after the trade deadline a little bit because I think you said it best a second ago, Brian, that a little bit of disappointment on your end back in the
my
day.
end, yeah.
And a little bit of disappointment, I think, from Cowboys Nation. There was no trade made at the deadline. Anyways, of course, they go out and get Jonathan Hankins prior to the trade deadline. But as far as yesterday goes, we thought maybe a wide receiver, maybe another playmaker, another value player. No move made. What are your thoughts?
Well, if you're a fan of the Miami Dolphins, you're probably pretty excited because they went super aggressive on you yesterday. It was good to see. I think with them moving the trade deadline back, I think it's kind of helped things. I think teams get to the halfway point of the season, and they're like, we're 2-6, we're not going anywhere, or, man, we need to make a big move. And, you know, if you believe the reports of Albert Breer and others who cover this league so well, that the Dallas Cowboys were in on the Brandon Cooks thing. Brandon Cooks, we were starting to learn, wasn't at practice. So you're thinking, well, maybe the Texans were working on something there. It sounds like to me, in reading into what Brandon Cooks said afterwards, that he felt like that he was told that he was going to be traded. And so, that's Nick Sirianni and those guys down there at, Nick Caserio, excuse me, down there in Houston, we're probably trying to get this thing done. The word was Dallas was in on it. They couldn't agree on the, you get guaranteed money. There's all these things that kind of happen. And I know Cowboy fans are going, well, there they go. They're going to tell us about guaranteed money. They don't want to pay this, don't want to pay that. I'd like to have seen him try. I think they tried. The money aspect of it always is going to be a hang-up here because they've got other guys they have to sign. I understand rolling over cap and stuff like that, and they let go of a $20 million receiver last year, with Amari Cooper. And were they interested in adding an $18 million receiver? Well, I don't think that was, there was initially, there was some thought about that. But, until you really sit down and visit with people afterwards and share a beer with them or whatever and say, hey, how did that thing really roll down? And I'm sure in the coming days we'll hear this happened, and we'll have a little bit clearer picture. But I wish they would have been able to do something because adding Cooks, I think, could have helped.
Yeah,
able to give you an explosive player on the outside, and maybe this now is their explosive players get Turpin going. Maybe that's the explosive player that they need to get going.
Cooks is arguably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire league.
Been traded for a lot of ones.
Yeah, he's definitely benefited from bouncing around and still kept his explosiveness. But Ed Warder yesterday was the first one that I had seen the tweet, and he said 2 sources directly involved tell me that the Cowboys and the Texans discussed a potential trade involving wide receiver Brandon Cooks until the final minutes before the NFL trade deadline expired. Draft pick compensation and the $18 million guaranteed salary for Cooks in 2023 could not be resolved in time. So they were close. They were trying. At least that's the report.
What would it have been? A 2, a 3?
Probably a 2.
At least a 2, maybe a little bit more.
See,
that might be where the line was drawn, and the Cowboys didn't want to step over it.
This is where they let go of a second-round pick yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to people on Twitter this morning about that. I'm like, well, maybe they didn't want to give up the 2. I'm glad they didn't do it. And I'm thinking, you just let a 2 go yesterday.
And you got a 3 that can't catch a ball.
Yeah. See, that's right now. That's a very fair point.
Nate coming in slinging fire today. I like it.
This is what I'm sitting over here, just not saying nothing,
but saying a lot.
But I don't need any more to see our receivers not play big.
Okay.
Inconsistent. Because what you said was whatever the money, the picks, we are staying pat.
Yeah.
And that's why you heard me say yesterday, what is my biggest, if I could have Christmas today, discipline.
Yeah.
Because
that's your present today, you hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're saying. I didn't get these guys out there because we believe that with Jack at the helm, we have guys coming back, guys getting better, and this is what we got. And we're good enough to get into the second round of the playoffs. With not in the first, we're good enough to be in the second round competing for the NFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
So how tough is it on this coaching staff, Nate, to bring that present and put it at the doorstep of every player in that locker room? Because they didn't make a move. Instead, they actually decreased technically their talent because they let go of Tristan Hill, makes a roster spot. Sure, that's a whole different conversation. But how tough is it for this coaching staff to say, okay, we didn't make a move. Now go out and let's figure this thing out from a wide receiver standpoint? Because I think that's the position most people are looking at.
Jimmy would have stood up and if Jimmy would have let it pass, Jimmy would have stood up and told us, fellas, I am telling you, you are good enough to win it all.
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because if I could have found a player that could replace Nate at that left guard, I would have gave up the 1, the 2, and the 3 because that gives me the best chance to win. Right. So we didn't do that. Mm-hmm. So we are saying we are going to win with you guys. So now they're throwing the pressure back on the players.
Do you think that's the case, Brian?
No, he's absolutely right. And, I think what's interesting is, though, that you did put the pressure on the players because you didn't get the deal done. But if Ed Werder's report, and I think Ed does an excellent job. I think Albert Breer, I think there's people that cover this team that do excellent work. I don't think Ed Werder's throwing that out there with all those details. To me, they tried. Mm-hmm. And to me, now you've maybe created a little doubt. You said, okay, we tried, but now it's on you because we couldn't get it done.
Right.
And that's the thing that I don't know how that's going to play. I think adding, I know from my own experience, again, here's the guy that lived it. We got Andre Rison the Super Bowl year. And we really didn't need Andre Rison. We had Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman, and we had Keith Jackson. We had legitimate players. Dorsey Levin. We had guys, but we felt like if we added Andre Rison, that would put us over the top. That would give us the ability to compete against Dallas and San Francisco and people like that. And games that Andre Rison played for us, we were 8-0.
Wow.
The five regular season games and then the 3 playoff games. So those, sometimes you say if we could just add that one more piece. But now this is the battle cry. And Nate's right. The battle cry is we didn't add anybody, and we're going to get some guys back, whether it's Tyron Smith, James Washington, Basham. That's the battle cry now. We're going to add pieces from within in order to make this run.
Do you feel like they're good enough to make a run with those pieces added?
I do, and I wanted him to add. I wanted him to add an impact player, and I think Cooks could have been an impact player. I was not trying to limit myself to say, oh God, they got to have a wide receiver. Now they determined they needed a wide receiver. Now we haven't heard if any other names that they were maybe, but that was the one name that we did hear. So they determined that okay, if we can maybe add this piece, this will be. I think Jerry Jones has this right. I think he has it right after Sunday's game when he looked at his own team and he looked at the conference and he said, you know what? We're competing against Philadelphia here right now. We're competing against the Vikings right now. We're not competing against Tom Brady. Now, I should include San Francisco in this because I think San Francisco's legitimate. But Jerry Jones is looking, it's like, Tom Brady's not in this thing right now.
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers isn't in this thing right now. Those are the roads you've had to travel the last couple of years, and he probably feels like he's got just as good a chance of getting to the Super Bowl, and in battling either Kansas City or the AFC has it tough. You have a Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo. One of those 3 teams is going to probably emerge out of all that mess. And it's going to be a tough team, but your path to victory, your path to the Super Bowl likely will go through Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have a chance to play them again in the year, and potentially play them again if you can, find a way to win a couple playoff games.
And the thing that you can't lose. This is the thing. We're down 2 to Philly. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, 1.5. Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say down 2 because they beat us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So,
that's a good point.
And at the end of the year, we got to they got to lose 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that game can mean something.
Yeah.
But if they stayed at 1.5 all the way through, what does that game mean in the end?
Yeah.
We got to keep – you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was a possible player, adding a player that you said could have gave us that? See, because I know this in my heart. I've seen it. We've seen it. If we were fortunate enough to get a wide receiver with the impact that we needed, CeeDee Lamb becomes alive again because he becomes our number 2 guy. And he becomes alive again.
Either that or 1A and 1B, because CeeDee Lamb could be just as talented as Brandon Cooks.
Talent
could maybe use that help.
Talent don't get it.
You got to have the production.
Performance gets it.
No doubt.
It's
so
funny.
I see him. I know what he can do as a whatever how you want to put it, 1A,
1A, 1B. Yeah.
I see what he can do.
I think
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. Timing is everything.
Yes, it is.
And you're a year late on your defense being the way it is. And I mean, a year late because last year you had all these guys. You had all these wide receivers.
Yes.
And you had an offense that was going up and down. Now, they had some struggles, against some good teams, but they were one of the top scoring offenses in the league, one of the top offenses in the league. And if you'd had this defense playing on that team, I wonder how that would have been. But yeah, you're kind of you're in a situation right now where, your quarterback's back. And I think that's the number one thing that, he's gotten better the last 2 weeks. And that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on right now, that you need to figure out some more things with the running game. But defensively, it'd been nice to add a player, but you are who you are right now, and that's not bad.
See, the thing that I can't see, Kyle and Broadus, is I'm talking different than everybody because I don't see us as a Super Bowl contender.
Not yet.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I see us as a guy that needs to get past the first round.
Yeah.
And that's where we're stuck at. That's
where
we're stuck at.
Yeah, if you don't win the division, you're likely going to play the NFC South.
Sure.
Which is going to be a 9-8 Tampa team, maybe.
Atlanta,
Right.
Tampa,
a
New
9-8 Atlanta.
Right.
I think your favorite. If you catch Tampa right now, it's just a matter of how you catch teams during your schedule.
Right.
You catch Tampa now, you're probably putting a beating on them.
Yep.
Okay.
But anyway, if you're the 5th seed, you're likely going to go play the NFC South. Whoever, and I guarantee you'll be favored over anybody that you have to go play on the road against in the South. Now let's see what happens in round 2.
Yeah.
And we all know this about the divisional round. That's where the upsets happen.
Sure.
That's where all of a sudden number 1 seed gets knocked out. How did the Rams went from being a home playoff game, going on the road, and then getting the NFC Championship game at home. That's how that worked. So you got to, it'd be nice to find a way to win the division so you maybe can get that home game, and then maybe get the championship back to you if you can.
I think that's what's frustrating, this whole conversation about why they didn't make a move yesterday. Because it makes sense. You feel good about your guys, but at the same time, you're, like Brian was saying, your competition through the NFC playoffs right now isn't Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. It's Marcus Mariota. It's Kirk Cousins. It's Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's wide open in the NFC. So I think a lot of Cowboys fans out there are saying, why not go for it? Why not go get the Brandon Cooks and spend a little extra draft capital to go get it done? We don't know what the offers were yet. That's the problem right now. Once we go and see the offers, if it's like, oh, we didn't want to give up a 2, then maybe there's a little frustration.
Well, see, to me, it's the compensation of giving up the 2 is. I've always said this about you kind of got to look at where the 2 is. If you're a playoff team, if Brandon Cooks gets you to where, say you get Brandon Cooks, and he helps you get to where you're going to be, and say you're picking 26th or 27th, that's like a second-round pick. Because we always talk about this on the draft
50s,
show. Yeah, we always talk about this on the draft show because every year there's 16 to 20 first-round grades.
Yep.
You're giving up a second-round pick for the opportunity for Brandon Cooks to help you, or anybody, not just Brandon Cooks, anybody that gave up a second-round pick yesterday. You're giving up that opportunity to maybe help your team win more games, and then it becomes a later and later pick. The compensation shouldn't be the problem. I can understand the money being the problem. I can understand them not wanting to take on $18 million in salary. Sure. I can understand that.
And Houston probably didn't want to eat a whole lot of that anyways because they're trying to rebuild and they're trying to retool their whole ideal.
Yeah, they're not a good team.
No, not at all. Now, it's funny because we keep saying second-round picks. Just for context, they've had some swing and misses. Second-round picks.
That's some good ones, though.
They've had some good ones.
But they've had some bad ones, yeah.
You have most recently Sam Williams, then Kelvin Joseph, and then before that you had Trayvon Diggs and then Tristan Hill.
Right.
So swings and misses on some. You've had a home run on one of those, and that's Trayvon Diggs. Sam Williams, he looks like he's going to be a good player, so I think you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I was surprised about Sam. I was told he was going to be okay for that game. I know he hurt his knee in practice a little bit on Thursday, and then I kind of got the word that no, everything was fine there, and then he was inactive on Sunday, and I went, that kind of got my attention. I'm like, oh, did something? We find out something a little bit worse. But Sam Williams looks fine, and Kelvin Joseph on special teams. The other day in the game that we were all watching. He gets put in the game a couple plays. First play is fine. Second play, they give up the touchdown and stuff like that. He felt like he was in position. Good route, good throw. Just, has had a problem not getting the ball down. But he's been really, really good. And I know you don't draft second-round guys to play special teams, but at least he's going in the right direction of learning what it is taking to be a pro. I think that's the biggest thing we're gathering from that.
It's notable
Looks like he's having
improvement.
fun playing football after a terrible offseason.
Notable improvement. You could see that growing in Kelvin Joseph over the last couple of months. Now, let's take our first break. When we come back, I want to give some first-half superlatives. Let's do 5 different superlatives on what you thought out of specific individuals on this Cowboys roster after the first half of the season. More Talking Cowboys right after this.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talking Cowboys. Before we get started here on our second segment, be sure to keep an eye out for the multi-Grammy award-winning global superstar Ed Sheeran coming to AT&T Stadium Saturday, May 6th to kick off the 2023 Mathematics Tour. Sheeran will be accompanied by special guests Khalid and Dylan. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium. You're a big Ed Sheeran guy, right, Nate? It's on your iPod.
What does he does?
He's alternative, is I think what he's classified as.
Is it rock and roll?
No, I wouldn't even say rock
country,
and roll. No, he's kind of right in the middle.
Alternative. I don't know it. I don't know it.
Yeah. He has some really good days, and he has some really bad days.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, it's kind of right around it.
Yeah.
I like Ed Sheeran specifically, but I
bet you if he come in here, he's pretty good at what he does.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
You would never believe he's a superstar by his appearance.
Okay.
He's got this long, like ratty orange hair.
Yeah.
And
Just looks like it's kind of like a guy.
Yeah, just looks like a dude, but he's got a fantastic voice.
But he can go.
He can go.
Yeah.
He can go a little bit. Back here with Nate Newton and Brian Broaddus. I'm Kyle Yeomans here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought, gentlemen, since the last day I have you, let's take a full look back to the first half of the season. I want to give some superlatives, some awards, I guess, for this first half of the season. I've got 5 of them here. We're going to start with most improved player from the Cowboys roster this season. We're going to start from your expectations to start the season and where they've gotten to this point right now. Most improved player for the Dallas Cowboys. Anybody come to mind?
Connor McGovern.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
Because no one is giving him a chance. We wanted him out as the left guard. He battled. He kept playing. We tried to get him out with the big guy 71. He's still there. He's more than just a glorified fullback. He's a C-plus player that gives you everything he got. Evidently, he studies film well, and he's holding up. And I like that type of guy. I'm that type of guy. You know, give it all you got. And that's what this kid is doing. That's what he's doing. I didn't have him starting, but he's starting, and he's done a nice job for the Dallas Cowboys, Connor McGovern.
I like that.
I'll tell you what, that's a really good one. I'll stay on the offensive line because I never give the right tackle any credit at all, Terrence Steele. I've been on so many platforms, and people probably wondering why I'm on so many platforms. And I have opinions about Terrence Steele. But I'll say this, though. I've thrown a lot of dirt on him. I thought he was a liability. I thought his playing style was not conducive to how you really wanted to, play. But you can run the ball behind him. Mm-hmm. Is he perfect in pass protection? No. But is he a liability that I thought he was? I thought he was going to get just overpowered, worked, run around. He does a great job. If you want to, we always talk about this. They run 65 plays, great 65 plays. He's going to have probably going to have 62 pluses and 3 minuses.
Yes.
And the 3 minuses don't always kill you. And that's a credit to offensive line play. The center's kind of the same way too. Tyler Biadasz in my mind. But yeah, I was super, super, super critical of Terrence Steele. And he is not as bad of a player as I deemed him to be. And my expectations of him were 0, that maybe that Tyron Smith needed to play left tackle and Tyler Smith needed to play right tackle. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. But I think they're going to have to make some decisions, but it's not as cut and dry now as it once was.
And that's a credit to the staff on the other side of the building, too, in grabbing him, because I remember our initial conversation about Terrence Steele. I was watching film on him at Texas Tech right when they signed him. And
he was awful in the Senior Bowl.
He was not good at all.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this guy, and I was hearing all of the noise that this staff in the front office, they love this dude.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, what is he doing? And I texted you because I was at a loss.
Right.
I had no idea what he was doing to where they were able to say and point to Terrence Steele and say, I love this guy. And I remember you kind of talked about his feet, and you talked about he's a little top heavy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that you were saying that I was seeing on the tape.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and he's the starter in 2020.
Yeah.
Fills in.
Did a great job. He really
nicely,
did. He did.
And then he's just grown and grown since then.
Yeah, you know what? He deserves a lot of credit because sometimes you roll your eyes when they say he's the opposite of what Lyle Collins was.
Yeah.
If you talk about first in, last out, reliable, coming to work out, those things. I mean, and coaches sometimes fall in love with those guys.
What hurt me was, Kyle will tell you, I never, even when he was young, rookie, whatever, back and forth.
Yeah.
When you got a guy you have big questions, you put him one place and work it.
Yeah.
I hated that back and forth.
Oh, moving him to left tackle, right tackle,
That was such a hindrance in slowing him down. Yeah. He's still a C pass blocker and a B+ run blocker.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's that guy, but he's willing to work.
Yeah.
I like it. I think both of your names were fantastic.
Anybody on defense you could think of real quick?
I was thinking Quentin Bohanna. That's kind of where I was headed there on the defensive side. You talk about a guy who 6th-round pick, not a ton of expectation. He's come in and played well. He hasn't played off the charts, but he's been a contributor on defense, and he's been in that rotation. So that's probably the name I would go with.
Good. I like that.
And then I also wanted to add Peyton Hendershot in there, too. You talk about an undrafted guy who's come in and found a role.
I did a thing yesterday on 105.3 The Fan where I had him grade, similar to what we're doing right now, grade just a B, C, or D on players. And I put Hendershot and Ferguson together. I always just put them together. Because
you're right for doing that.
Yeah. And then, how would you grade Hendershot and and Ferguson together.
They Kittle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like they block really well together.
Yeah.
They run routes well. They catch the ball when asked.
Yes,
Kittle.
Well,
Kittle,
expectations.
yeah. Serious.
Hendershot plus Ferguson equals Kittle. Okay,
Yeah.
I like
It's
it.
to the point where you if you really don't want to, if you want to move on from Dalton Schultz and not pay $12 to $13 million, or if you could get a deal, you now have that option.
Yeah.
You now have that option.
Yeah, both of those guys coming in have made an impact and they found a role. What's your biggest surprise this season for the Cowboys team? Anybody pop up in that regard?
How well Cooper Rush played.
Okay.
I was not. I was like in camp. I'm thinking Will Grier looks like a better player to me, just moving around and throwing the ball. And there were a couple of times in practice where I'm watching Cooper Rush. I'm like, throw it. And some of the stuff. Give him credit, because my expectations for him was once again zero. I'm thinking, well, maybe Will Grier runs the offense a little bit better with how you play with the waggles and the boots and the things like that, But Cooper Rush coming in and winning 4 games, you couldn't have drawn it up any better for the Dallas Cowboys. Matter of fact, I'm watching Dallas Stars hockey last night, and Daryl Razor Ray, the color commentator, says, Wedgwood is the goalie for the Stars now. He's filling in, and it's like he goes, think of this guy as Cooper Rush. Think of this as Cooper Rush. And so that's kind of where that's how great he did for you this year.
Because the Otter is out, and that's your Dak Prescott.
That's your Dak. Yeah,
for
that's
the
your
goalie.
yeah, exactly.
And then you're bringing in this guy, and he's your Cooper Rush.
He's your Cooper Rush.
He's turned into
Sitting
a
to
noun.
broadcast, I'm like thinking that makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome. Biggest surprise, Nate?
Coach McCarthy.
Oh, look at this.
Along with the quarterback. Yeah. Because they became one hand in hand. He had to protect this kid.
Yeah.
And so he told his offensive coordinator, "Don't do this to this kid. Yeah. Don't hang him out to dry." And so Coach McCarthy, along with Cooper Rush, I think they did a magnificent job.
I think my name kind of goes along those same routes, and a guy that stepped up to allow Cooper Rush to be successful, Noah Brown. That's one of my big ones, too. Because
he won the Cincinnati game.
He absolutely did.
Yes, he did.
And you could go to the defensive side of the football, maybe throw Dorrance Armstrong out there. But I had a lot of confidence in Dorrance.
Dorrance Armstrong. See, I was 50-50 because Noah
Cooper Rush?
Dorrance Armstrong, and then also Anthony Brown.
Yeah, sure.
Anthony Brown has not played to the level that I thought he was going to play.
Let me say this real quick.
In a bad way, in a negative way.
I thought he would be a lot better.
Yeah.
I give him a pass because look at the guys that are eating him up. I mean, maybe last week one, but he's normally facing the number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It ain't a lot of great players in this league.
If he's facing Mike Evans, he's facing Julio Jones. If he's
it's not a lot of, and I'm not saying that
I was overhyping.
Yeah, he was.
I was
training camp. Yeah,
way overhyping Anthony Brown.
He had a great camp.
I felt like this guy's going to get 4 interceptions. He's going to lead the team.
Right,
he's going to make a lot of tackles. He's going to knock down a lot of balls.
You Pro Bowling him.
I Pro Bowled him. But I Pro Bowled Dorrance Armstrong too, and
he's always been my guy coming out of Kansas.
Yeah,
I think the last coaching staff knew what to do with this kid and didn't allow it to happen.
But didn't do it.
Yeah,
they knew it. They knew what they had, but they couldn't get it done.
Yes.
Offensive Player of the Year, Nate. Anybody come to mind there?
Zeke and Tony Pollard.
Ooh, the run game duo. Okay.
Yeah, Zeke and Tony Pollard.
Look, he's doing one of my things with his tight end. Putting them both together.
Tying them together. Okay, so
you get Henry.
Zeke plus Pollard equals Henry. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, he's not wrong. 27, they had a game the other day. I keep using these numbers. 27 carries, 142 yards, 5.2 yards an average. Mm-hmm. When you give one back, 15 carries and the other 12, it's less wear and tear on if you give one guy 27 carries and let him go be. Now, there are people that will argue with you, namely the guys I work with from 2 to 7 on 105.3 The Fan. They'll say, well, yeah, no, give Pollard all the carries. Give Pollard all the carries. And so yesterday I went on a rant. I'm like, yeah, give him 33 carries. Give him 30 carries. That's the kind of numbers Zeke's had. Zeke's had career days where it's 33 carries, 30 carries, 28 carries, 27 carries, 20. I'm like, yeah. Load him up. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm really kind of trolling my guys. But they
must have Pollard in fantasy football. That's
no. It's the eye test.
Yeah,
it's the eye test. It really, really is.
It's the eye test and the bank test. When you say $12 million, it's the eye test. Oh, is he really worth 12? No, he may be not worth 12, but together they're worth 12.
Let me ask you this: when you guys started 0-2 that one year when Emmett was holding out? Do you think Emmett was worth every penny they paid him?
Oh, yes, he was.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
He takes 30 carries, okay.
I'd never seen a team start off 0-2 and everybody kind of look at you like, Jerry, get Emmett back in here.
Yeah.
Get him back in here.
Nobody was speaking to Mr. Jones then. The owner of the team. Everybody just looking at Mr.
They
Jones.
just walk away.
Yeah.
The Heisman.
He knew he had old Fat Nate, though. Hey, bacon sandwich.
Offensive player, Brian, what you think?
I think Nate is completely on to something here with the running back situation. I mean, that to me has been – I think that's been fabulous that they've been able to. And what I've learned, though, is if you look at all the top rushing teams in the league, most of them do have a running quarterback, but a lot of them have bad offensive lines.
Yes.
And so what happens is teams that run the ball with a bad offensive line usually can't protect worth a damn. This team kind of figured out how to run the football, learning how to pass block too, is what they've done. So I think they've gotten better as they've gone along here. But I will say the running backs, but I also kick a vote to the offensive line because I think they've gotten better since week 1.
I was going to do Zach Martin. That was going to be my name.
Yeah.
Just because he's always been the
super
most steady guy on your team. No doubt about it. You know that when push comes to shove, Zach Martin's going to be the one shoving.
And he's getting better. Because he had some games where he just wasn't Zach.
He wasn't Zach.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, that's Zach.
It's a different offensive line around him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, think about it.
Yeah. When you're the anchor and you got to pull up a ship, it can't be difficult.
Even Hercules can struggle a little bit
right.
whenever he's getting that anchor off the ground.
Yeah.
All right, defensive player of the year. Anybody come to mind?
It's got to be Parsons, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about some of the things that they've been able to do, they've survived. Like we all kind of thought that Curse was going to be Curse. God bless him, man. The poor guy comes off the field every third play.
Yep.
If anybody needed a bye week more than Curse, I don't know who it was, but they had guys step in. Donovan Wilson stepped in for Curse. They've had linebackers that have had to step in a little bit and make some plays. But, yeah, Parsons by far for what he's done. I think Tank Lawrence has actually played pretty well for you too.
Yeah.
When you ask me, like, who's the most complete Cowboy defensive lineman? It's Tank. Rush the passer, get after the run. That's what you want. You'd love for Armstrong and Fowler and all those guys.
They're recipients of those two guys, and mainly the freak that's out there. They're recipients of that.
Yeah. That 1-2 punch.
Diggs has been damn good too.
He has been.
I mean, I know the run support stuff is not his big cup of tea, but man, he when he covers, he covers.
Hey, what are you laughing at, Nate?
I saw Diggs a couple of games ago. Yeah. A guy was sweeping out at him, and he took the running back.
Yeah.
He like. I don't know how he did it. It's like, I'm going to get you down, but I don't want you to touch me. So he kind of like a matador matadored him to the ground.
Was that against Detroit?
Yeah.
Is it Detroit they were running the outside?
The 4th and 1, if we all watched the All-22, he had a chance to knife in there and make the play. They played the run really well against the ball went towards Anthony Brown, and he was able to get the guy on the ground on that toss sweep, and that's a shame. I mean, you get a great defensive call, and the guy I'm talking great about kind of goes, maybe not.
Yeah,
it's a business decision.
Yeah, I don't know.
But man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man. I'm all about this D, and I get mad when anything don't work their way, man.
Yeah.
So I love the whole D, man.
They come up with some big plays.
Yeah.
I mean, back to back. I've seen a lot of NFL games in my life. I've never seen two better plays than in Detroit when Parsons made that tackle on the goal line and then Tank knifed through there and knocked the ball loose.
Right.
I have never seen I've seen a lot of impactful plays, but back to back like that.
It changed the way that coach thought.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never stopped running.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it changed the way coach like, we threw running, just throw it. And he gave the game away right then.
That Micah Parsons stop getting down right at the goal line and able to pull him down from behind, the amount of space that he made up there, it's by far my favorite Micah Parsons play he's ever had. And he's had a lot of them. He's had a lot of great plays.
Oh, no, you watch him. It's every week he makes one of those plays where you're like going, he can't get there. Oh, my God, he got there. and the thing about when you watch the end zone copy, he's running past other defenders to get to where. Yeah. I mean, and guys are hustling. But he's just blowing past everybody on the way.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we've had a defensive player in a lot of years make plays when they count the most. Third down, fourth down, it don't matter. He makes the plays when we need it. That's a superstar. Other guys are just great players.
That's a great way to end that segment. When we come back, I want to do Rookie of the Year and then give our expectations to the second half of the season. More Talkin' Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle Coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
The new era Emmitt Smith headwear collection is here. Choose from 6 different styles and get your favorite exclusively at your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop, or you could go online and shop at dallascowboys.com, a Fanatics experience. So some new hats to go look at with big old Emmitt Smith. When's the Nate Newton collection coming out? Is that coming out soon?
Man, just go to your local store. We're Walmart supporter. Go to your local store. And like DLU said, just buy a big old blanket and wrap it around you.
That's the Nate Newton collection?
Yeah.
Okay. You should see Nate in his extra polo that he brings to wear whenever we're in studio watching the game. Did he used to do that?
Oh, no, he never wore his dress shirt. He never wore his dress shirt in the game because
I didn't want to waste food on it.
Yeah.
Now he's gotten smart. He keeps the dress shirt on, but then he brings a polo and he puts it over the top of it.
Yeah.
So he's got his dress shirt on underneath, and then he's got the polo.
He would leave his tie. He'd have to do his tie. He'd put it on at the He had his jacket and his tie.
Right.
And then but he wouldn't wear his dress shirt. He would be sitting there just like in the polo, and then he would change before we'd go on.
Yep.
And here's Lindsay Draper back in the day. She was just immaculate.
Yes.
She would never get food on her.
No.
She was always so, and me and Nate were just red beans and rice that were like on our slacks and all that stuff like that.
Gosh.
Wow.
Good times. But yeah, we'll have some fun coming up next week. So before we get into our final quick segment, give me 30 seconds or less why somebody who watches Talkin Cowboys and listens to Talkin Cowboys should also check out the break.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. The thing about it is there's really good conversation. I think Derek does a great job of getting everybody involved. I think that's the great thing about a host is that you get different opinions involved. And I think Amber Garcia has grown so much.
Yes, she has.
Nick and I have fought a lot on things, and Nick's always, Nick can be stubborn in a good way. And so, yeah, I think that's the thing about it is varying opinions, some stubbornness, and then some other fresh ideas I think are really, really good about the show.
It is a great show.
That's why I came back.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And it's a long-running show, too. It's got a great following, a lot of people that watch it. Nate, what about hanging with the boys?
We quirky, man. We off the charts. We give you good information, but we'll veer off, man, and I'm that guy that'll veer off. Then Kurt is our statistician.
Yeah.
Kurt, and he gives us all our stats and updates. And Jesse, without an I, is that serious guy. I'm going to start breaking in on him a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because
you chip away at him a little bit?
Yeah, you want to be that serious guy. And I'm going to give him some tape like, hey, you supposed to not talk so much and let me do the talking. But it ain't going to work. But we got a good show. We off the charts. We have fun. But we give you a lot of information.
Plenty of time to catch up on both of those shows throughout the bye week. You can listen back to some of their old ones. And then whenever Monday comes around, listen to the break, listen to the Hanging with the Boys, and, of course, stick here on Talkin Cowboys as well. But I got one more superlative I want to get to, and that's Rookie of the Year. You got a number of names that have made impacts. You talk about Tyler Smith and Sam Williams and Deron Bland, who's come in and played well.
Deron Bland's a hell of a football player.
He is
Deron Bland went to school at Fresno. He should have been playing at UCLA or USC.
Yep.
Maybe some didn't help him along that way, but they missed him out there on that West Coast.
No doubt.
That kid's a football player. Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
There was so much unknown about. I mean, I'd seen him in Tulsa. I'd seen him play left tackle. I was half thinking, man, he's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. He's been more than fine, to the point where when Tyron Smith comes back, I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah.
I really am. But Tyler Smith has gone in there and done a great job of playing a very difficult position in the National Football League and not being a liability out there.
You have a valuable asset in Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
You have a valuable asset. He can play 2 or 3 positions. And
you're already going to move him, huh?
Yeah. I ain't getting rid of my rookie.
Yeah,
no,
you're keeping him there.
Yeah, I'm not playing no game.
You've always had that. You like the consistency.
Well, see, he just told you about Steele. He hated the fact that they were playing Steele at left and right, and just keep him at one spot. So
see, your first 5 guys, you don't play that game.
Yeah.
Your first 6 guys, you don't play that game.
Yeah.
Now you the 7th and 8th guy, they got to be do-allers, but the first 5 you don't play that game. But anyway, my Rookie of the Year. It's that kid that never got a chance. And Bland is his name?
Yeah.
That's my Rookie of the Year. I thought this guy would be starting coming out of training camp.
Because he was so good?
Oh, I really did. I'm like, and he's going to prove me right. He's going to shine at that slot position. He's going to shine, man.
You know what's funny about Bland? I think he's shown you could play him at slot.
Yes.
But you could also play him on the outside, and I don't know if you could do that with Jordan Lewis. I think Jordan Lewis is just kind of a slot player.
He's a slot guy. That's it.
And
nothing
wrong with that.
Slot.
Nothing wrong with that. But I think that you could play Bland at both spots, and I think you'd be fine.
Well, think about it this way: if the Jordan Lewis injury happens the way that it did, and that's unfortunate because Jordan Lewis has been playing well. He's been doing a good job. But if that injury happens, are you thinking of this cornerback situation a completely different way? I think I would be, because then instead you're talking about moving Anthony Brown inside, you're putting Kelvin Joseph on the outside, you're playing Nashawn Wright on the outside, you're doing so many different things, but now you're just like, okay, here you go, Deron Bland, have fun, get after it, and it hasn't affected you yet.
I wish that Kelvin Joseph was Deron Bland.
Absolutely. If you flip those two.
Yeah, I wish that we'd be talking a Kelvin Joseph like we're talking about Deron Bland right now.
No doubt.
That's the thing I'm kind of disappointed in.
The question was, when he got drafted, everybody said, is he sincere about football?
Mm-hmm.
And until this bad off season, he was not sincere about football.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelvin Joseph specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Expectations for the back half of the season. What are you looking forward to seeing here over these next couple of weeks? Of course, the Cowboys return. They'll play the Green Bay Packers. Brian's
got 3 tough
team.
games.
Yeah.
Got 3 tough games.
Then you're on the road against Minnesota. Minnesota's won 5 straight at home, by the way.
See, I think Minnesota's playing a lot better. We'll see what they're doing defensively, though, but their offense is tough to deal with the running game. Kirk Cousins, though, in those shine the light games tends to kind of fall apart a little bit when he's on that stage. I think Green Bay is a wounded team right now.
Yeah.
And if they get a victory against a Cowboy team coming off a bye that's 6-2 that everybody's talking about right now, that could turn their season around. And I'm not just saying that because I used to work for the Packers. I worked for the Packers guys a long, long time ago, probably before a lot of you were even born that are listening to me right now. But I'm just saying, though, I always subscribe to the desperate team theory. And Green Bay they've got a game against Detroit this weekend, find a way to win that one, and then they turn around and beat the Cowboys. Now their season's starting to come back. That's got me a little bit nervous about them.
It's a desperation, back against the wall sort of feeling.
Desperate team theory, it's like I said, Aaron Rodgers, his demeanor is getting worse and worse after every loss.
Yep.
And, they go out and lose to Detroit this weekend, then they're done. And the Packers might be done right now. But if they want to get back into this playoff picture, and get the last spot in the tournament, they're going to have to start winning some games. That's going to be a tough game for the Cowboys to go to Lambeau Field.
Nate?
Oh, you just talking about Lambeau itself?
No, just in general.
They got
last
1,
half.
2, 3, 4, 5 road games.
Yeah, second half, yeah.
We're going to find out, do you want to play for your defense?
Yeah.
Because what you have to take on the road, especially against these teams that got good defenses and good run games, you got to take on the road your run game, your special teams got to be tight, and your defense got to be right.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out about this team. We're going to find out who really wants to play football because you're on the road. But I still got the Cowboys easily winning by 1 in about 9 of these games.
Yeah, he's got he's got them 15-2,
easily by 1.
Easily by. Hey, last couple of weeks he's predicted him to win by 3. So I mean, those are blowout numbers. For Nate.
A 3-point win is a blowout for Nate.
All right, that's going to do it here for us on Talking Cowboys. Hope you had some fun with us this week. We'll be back on Monday to break it all down for you and get you ready for week number 10 of the NFL season. The Cowboys on the road to take on the Green Bay Packers. Brian, Nate, it's been an absolute
Great
blast.
job, man. Appreciate
This has been so much fun. Glad to have you guys along the ride. Good luck on the break. Good luck on hanging with the boys. For Chris Beam, Nate Newton, Brian Broaddus, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!